Yo, people, welcome back to Neeks Sports. We are live, we're in the building, and we're here to preview Burnley versus Arsenal at Turf Moor. Arsenal are back in action after having a nice week off. Let's see, let's have a chat, let's get in a preview, get in the comments, let me know what you think of the game. And yeah, let's see if we can get 3 points off Burnley. Let's get into it. Yo, people, what's happening? How you lot doing? Everyone good? Everyone, we're back, we're live, we're in for Arsenal versus Burnley away in the Premier League. Get in the comments, get in the chat, let me know what you think of the game. Do you think that Arsenal will get the victory against Burnley, or do you think Arsenal will suffer at the hands of Sean Dyche? So get in the club, get in the club. Get in the chat, hand in the chat. Say Liverpool have stolen Arsenal's banter club status. Yes, Liverpool. Liverpool are dropping. Reality is Liverpool are dropping further down that league table, and a win against Burnley puts us a couple of points behind them, which is mad. Absolutely mad. Considering the starts both teams have had, it's a madness to see that. But it is what it is. Liverpool are down there for a reason. Um, Not my problem. I'm just looking at Burnley. I'm just looking at Burnley. But we'll get into it. We'll get into the match preview. We'll get into the team news, predicted 11s. Um, yeah, let me know what you think the predicted 11s are going to be. Let me know what you think the score is going to be today, tomorrow, even. And yeah, we'll get into it. Before we go directly into the game, just want to sort of start on a build off from the Leicester City win at the King Power. Good win, obviously, we got last week. Arteta saying that we're taking a step in the right direction. And you know what? Like, in a weird sense, like the two wins last week were huge. The win against Benfica was massive for our season. Obviously, it's a competition that we're going to be going in the most, that we're going to be going hard for. So a win was badly needed to get in the last minute as well. Just gives you that extra bit of confidence. I don't know why, but it's just like that last minute, hooray, you've done it, you've got over the line. But then there's also the case of the fact that actually, with the way that we're playing, having to rotate the squads, a lot of question marks were held at Arteta for that game, for the Leicester game, in terms of the squad. And then we battered, well, like we didn't batter Leicester in terms of like 4-5-0, but after we went 1-0 down, we were in control of the whole game. And credit given to Arteta where credit's due, because the man, it was a masterclass from him against Brendan Rodgers, outclassed Brendan Rodgers easily, and you can tell that he can see something from the squad, that we are going the right way. Ever since that game against Chelsea, I know we've had a couple of poor defeats against Wolves and Villa, and then in the FA Cup, but majority of that's been positive. Um, there's a lot of things to work on, as Arteta said. The way we conceded that goal against Leicester was poor, and we do anything like that again against Burnley, we may be in for the same thing. So we need to be careful with how we're doing on that. But Arteta's right; we are a team moving in the right directions at the moment, and if we can still get wins, you never know what's achievable this season. I've already written off the Premier League, but there's a bit of fight showing in these lads now. Maybe I would have liked that fight earlier on in the season, but it is what it is. We're here now, and there's a lot of teams that are dropping off. See the likes of Liverpool, Man United, not getting through their best spell, and we have taken advantage of that and going for our best spell, even though we're still 10th in the league. Erhan says top six is still up for grabs. Listen, top six is a massive ask. It's a massive ask for Arsenal this week, this season. Listen, where we are on the table, we've got to take it one game at a time. There may be a chance that we can get into top six this year. Definitely, I'm not saying that we won't get in top six, but it's so far off right now. There's teams above us with games in hand that we just need to focus on one game at a time and doing our thing against Burnley. We win against Burnley, things start to look up again. You look at the Leicesters, you look at the Villas, you look at the Spurs, and who else is ahead of you? You start going from there. Obviously, big North London derby next week as well. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. Wilson's in the chat. It says, yo, hope that I'm doing well. Yep, I'm all good. Thank you. I'm all good. MB is here as well, saying, I think that we should rest key players ready for Olympiacos. Listen, argument to rest players, but argument to also get the players ready and fired up. They had a good rest last week. A lot of the first team squad, a lot of the first team squad had a good long rest last week against Leicester. Obviously, Bukayo Saka didn't play at all. Partey got 30 minutes off the bench. Aubameyang got 10 minutes off the bench. Odegaard obviously got a half after coming on for Smith Rowe. The centre backs, Louise and Gabriel, have had a full week's rest after not. No, it was Holden and Gabriel got a rest after not playing, so they could come back in. There's an argument. I would play the first team today. Honestly, would. The Olympiacos game is 5 days away. Yes, you could get injuries, 100%, but it's the Premier League. It's not a friendly game. It's a game you go out to win. And I know it's the back burner game, but I think we can play our full strength squad today and Olympiacos on Thursday. Your problem does come though when you play Spurs on the Sunday afterwards. What do you do then? But I think you got to deal with that when that comes. At the moment, whilst Burnley's here, whilst they're ready, whilst they have a whole week off, I say you play the first team squad. Wilson says I feel that top six is more realistic than top four. However, we need to take it one game at a time. 100%. I don't think top four is realistic at all. I don't think we're going to get top four, but we just have to just keep going and see what we can get. Hans says, remember Alexis loves scoring last minute winners at Turf Moor. He did. I think he got a couple. One was that handball goal. He scored that handball goal, which now is illegal to score goal with your hand, but it's still illegal to score a goal with your hand, but it's now legal to have the ball hit your hand unintentionally and fall to your teammate. I remember we scored a late goal with Koscielny and Oxlade-Chamberlain when that happened. But yeah, Alexis Sanchez loved the late goal. Shane says, I remember if Burnley was one of the teams that beat you in that bad run. Yes, they were. Burnley beat us 1-0 at the Emirates. Xhaka got sent off, and Aubameyang scored an own goal from a corner straight after that, and we could have conceded the penalty without any. So listen, Burnley has given us some nightmares in the past this season, and revenge has got to come. Revenge has got to come. Wilson's lineups in the chat. He's gone for a mixed squad. Interesting. My squad's a little bit different to that, but we'll get to that. MB says it's just a blip for Liverpool, similar to Man City last season. If FSG back Klopp properly in the summer, they'll bounce back and be stronger. Listen, there's question marks on FSG. Do they back Liverpool? Will they back Liverpool in the summer? Big question marks on that at all. Big question marks on that. He said, I really feel like the Europa League is our priority, but we need to finish off the season strongly. 100%. We gotta attack it. We gotta go for it. We gotta try and end the season as best as we possibly can, regardless of the Europa League. But Europa League has to be our priority. We have to try and stay in European football next season. And the way that it's looking right now, Europa League is going to be our best way to get it. So listen, in terms of the team news, we're looking good. We're looking very good right now. The only injury news we had the update from Arsenal today was that Smith-Rowe is going to be a doubt after he had a hip injury against Leicester. But even him, he's not too bad. They're saying that he may be all right to come back. He's going to be assessed ahead of tomorrow, so you may even see him maybe even on the bench. And then obviously we got Runarsson, but he's now back in full training, so our third choice goalkeeper is back. And apart from that, no new injuries, which is massive for Arsenal. How often have we come in this chat and talked about injury problems? We've got no new injury problems at the moment, so that is all good. We've got a full stroke squad. You could argue, no excuses for Arteta coming in with this game with a full stroke squad. Yeah, definitely. We gotta get revenge on Burnley for that poor result that we had against them earlier on this season. Airhan says Arteta done enough to deserve being linked to the Barca job. Has he done enough to be linked? No, but is it far-fetched to see him linked? No, and I think the reason is because he's a Barca man at heart. He was born and raised there, and so he knows it very well. Obviously, he knows some of the people that have been associated there, like Pep already. And it's not necessarily him as a history, but him going forward. Do they believe he could be the right man going forward? I think they do, and they like the way he's coaching Arsenal. And that makes you think, as Arsenal fans, why are we so desperate to kick him out when other clubs are potentially looking at him? Now, listen, obviously, all these links always happen whenever there's a new president at Barca. So take it with a pinch of salt. It's probably the rumors in Spain trying to just drive some attention. But listen, There's a reason why Barcelona want Arteta as their manager. Trust me. Um, Thoughts on Pepe's recent form? Yeah, the Pepe's been brilliant. Pepe's been absolutely brilliant in the past. Well, he's got what, 4 goal contributions in the last 7 games. He's had a good turn of form in the past month or two, and so he deserves it. He's deserves the praise that he gets. He's been good. Obviously, Willian was good last week as a sort of, maybe one off, but Pepe's held this form for a little while. Deserved the start last week, and he was brilliant. Tore Thomas apart. Thomas is probably having nightmares about Pepe still after the way he ripped up. Um, he got ripped up in that game from Pepe. So listen, Pepe has been no short of brilliant, no short of brilliant so far this season. Shane says, "Well, I don't think Arsenal are more nervous than me, and Liverpool will struggle to attract the top players without Champions League football." Yeah, they will, 100%. It's going to be an interesting market for Liverpool this season. So we'll actually see what happens. We'll actually see what happens. Um, their squad is good, but it needs to improve. They're going to be challenging for the league. I've always said it, that I don't think their squad's deep enough um, with Liverpool. Um, yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to them. Does Arteta play Barcelona style type of football? Um, Well, Barcelona's style has changed over the years. It's hard because, like, yes, it's not going to ever be that sort of the long ball, and it's always going to be possession based. But I think he does. I think he can suit that sort of style. It's difficult with a new set of players to do it in, but I don't think he'd be out of place that much at Barcelona. But I don't think he should. Actually don't think he should go. Taking my Arsenal bias out of it, as a I just I think the club's a mess right now, and I think it's going to take another rebuilding job. I don't think he wants to do another rebuilding job after the job he's had to do at Arsenal. He probably wants to leave Arsenal, go to a job where things are all set up nicely, and you can just walk in and have success. To rebuild that Barcelona squad is going to be a mad thing, especially if Messi does leave in the summer. Um, Guendouzi's got massive talent. However, his attitude state, no wonder he had problems with previous managers on loan this season. Yeah, a lot of talk this week and last week about Guendouzi. Um, yeah, for me, you need to get rid of him ASAP. And Torreira, not much against Torreira's attitude, but they're two players that we got to get rid of this season. And Edu's got work to do. Edu has got work to do this summer. If he thought he had a tough summer in January, this summer's not much easier. You've got Lacazette on his last year. Do you give him a new contract? Do you try and find a, a club to sell him to? Um, Eddie and Ketia, big talk about Eddie, obviously not getting the game time that he wants going into his last year. Do you give Eddie a new deal? Not because you maybe want to keep him at the club, but do you want to give Eddie a new deal for a smart business decision? Give him a new deal, send him out on loan, and then maybe next year look to see if you can sell him. Is that something that Eddie's willing to do? Potentially, he's got a lot of things to have a look at. Leno has got 2 years left on his deal. Does he get a new contract? It'll be a big question mark for Edu. Does Edu give him a new contract? Does he wait on that? You got the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe still yet to sign a new deal. He's got to get that over the line. Obviously, big talks with Balogun. He still wasn't played yet for Arsenal in the Premier League. Does he get a new contract? Does Edu convince him that Arsenal's a place to stay, or will he let him go? And then obviously you got Bellerin as well. Bellerin is entering his last, is it 2 years? I think he's got left, 2 years or a year left on his contract. He's got to go, in my opinion. He's got to go. So Edu's got work to do to get him out. If you're going to get that, so Bellerin out, and then you got to bring incomings in. If Lacazette goes, you've got to replace him. You've got to buy another striker. If Bellerin goes, you've got to get another right back. We don't know the situation with Erdegaard. We don't know the situation with Ceballos, but these players need to be replaced in the squad. So listen, Eddie's got a job on his hands in the summer. There's no guarantees that he will be able to get the job done at all. Hala Madrid, you can keep Ceballos. You can absolutely keep him. I don't want him. Not that he's bad, but it's just not worth the money that I'm hearing about it. Wilson said there's no way in hell that Arteta will leave Arsenal. Barca are not in a great position, to be honest. Yeah, completely agree. This is a good question, actually. And B, um, who would your top 5 signings be come the summer if you're Edu? I'll probably do another vid in the summer, so I don't take this as concrete. But as it stands right now, early 5th of March, really early on, we're not even really in the big dilemmas talking points. But I think your probably top target is a number 10 because if Odegaard does go back, what do you do? Personally, I'd obviously love a Jack Grealish, but I think that's going to be too far fetched. So I'm going to drop it down to Julian Brandt of Dortmund. I like Brandt, and I think he's the sort of number 10 that will suit Arsenal style of football. Now I'm hearing that Arsenal don't want Brandt, and they prefer maybe a Buendia style. But yeah, for me, I'd have Julian Brandt in the number 10. Tarek Lamptey at right back for sure. Man, I like Tarek Lamptey a lot. It's going to be a lot of money to bring him in, 100%. Maybe a bit less if Brighton do go down, but I think they'll be all right to stay up. So I think we spend the money and we go get a Tarek Lamptey to replace Bellerin. What other positions do I think we need? Centre mid, I'd probably look at Basuma. Look at Yves Basuma at Brighton, and I just love the way he breaks up play in the middle of the park, um, getting winning the balls back for Brighton. I think he does it so well. I'd like to see him come in. Edouard of Celtic, a good player, good striker. Not the best of seasons, but obviously in his last year or his last sort of year and a half on his contract at Celtic. So I think he'll be quite cheap in the summer, actually, even though he's a young player. Going into his last year, we could do a thing of getting rid of Lacazette and bringing in Edouard, and then maybe a centre back. I mean, I'm not sure. We have to wait to see what the decision is with Saliba. Do we keep Saliba ahead? Do we loan him out again? And do we need to replace another one of our centre backs who could be leaving? If we let go David Luiz go, maybe a Konate from Sevilla is maybe the centre back that we're looking for. But it's early on. It's early doors, man. You know, there's a lot of sorts of Edwards basically going to go to Leicester, link up with Brendan Rodgers, so that could be out already. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think the negotiations will start till at least April, May, because we don't even know what we're attracting. Are we attracting players for the Champions League? Are we attracting players for Europa League? Or are we attracting players for the Premier League? It's going to be depends on what strategy Edu and Arteta go with going forward. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, is Luis staying or is he going? Up to the board, up to Edu. I don't know. He's got a 1 year. He signed a 1 year deal extension in the summer. So I think there's an option to extend it again next year, or not. If it was me personally, I wouldn't renew it. I'd let him go. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know what Arteta's going to do in the summer. Or maybe you keep him in the dressing room and you just phase him out as the number one centre back. Wilson says he believes Arsenal will beat Burnley, Olympiacos twice, and Spurs. Also, I think that we will get a draw against West Ham. So listen, could happen as well. Yes, people, make sure you like the video, smash that like button. Thank you all for joining. Get in the comments, let me know what you think about the game. We're going to get into the team news now. We're going to get into the formation and the squad that I think Arsenal are going to put out. So yeah, we'll do that now. In fact, yeah, I'll probably do that now. Let me know what you think Arteta's going to play, who's going to play on the wings. Big decisions for Arteta today, tomorrow. Probably you got question marks on a few positions. You got the right back. Does he go with Bellerin or does he go with Cedric? Cedric worked really well with um, um, Pepe against Leicester. So do you stick with Cedric or do you swap him with Bellerin for tomorrow's game? Centre back, Mari and Louise played last week. Do you keep them too? I really do like Mari. I think he's been excellent every time I've seen him play. I know he question marks about him. He probably should have closed down the Tielemans when he was through on goal last week. But one of very few mistakes that he makes. Do you go with Mari and Holden or do you go with Gabriel and Louise? Big question marks there. I think you know. And then who you play wide? Does Saka come back in? Does Aubameyang come back in up front? You got the William Pepe dilemma. Listen, we're going to get into that now. We're going to get into what the lineup I think Arteta will go with come tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon. And do you go strong? Obviously, the question mark is: do you go strong or do you go weak? Is it time to rest players? or is it time to just go for the throttle? I'm gonna bring up the lineups here. Get in the chat again. Let me know what you think. What lineup you think Arteta will put in? And yeah, and we'll go from there. So you lot should be able to see this now coming up on the screen. Um, I think in goal, there's no doubt about it. A position that I've said has been calm for the whole season. But Leno goes in goal. Easy for me to go in. Matt Ryan is the backup on the bench. Runason is back in the squad after his injury. Right back, I'm actually going to go with Bellerin. I know a lot of people will be like, you got to play Cedric now. Got to play Cedric now. Listen, I think Cedric's time is going to come and going to be used a lot throughout the season. Arguably, you give him a rest today, and you may start Cedric against Olympiacos on the Thursday. Um, I think Arteta will go for Bellerin. Um, I think he'll start Louise. He likes Louise. He's a player that um, he's a favourite at Arsenal. And I know Arteta this season he usually plays Louise and someone else. So wouldn't be surprised to see Louise come in. And then I'm gonna go with Gabriel next to him. I know I said I really like Mari personally, but I think Gabriel will start. He still looked a bit shaky. Still doesn't look the same Gabriel that we saw from the start of the season. He did have a decent game when he did come back, but the second half against Benfica he just looked very very shaky for me. Not at his convincing best, but maybe he needs game time, and maybe this could be a good game to do it. And he'll come across some big players if they got like the likes of Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes. It'll be a chance for him to get revenge on what happened on the last game week when we played them. Left back, there's no doubt about it. If he's fit, he plays. Kieran Tierney straight in at left back. Been brilliant for us this season. I've got no qualms with him starting. Um, right, we'll go with left centre mid. Granit Xhaka. I mean, I know he hasn't been rested. He's arguably got his rest this week, whilst we've had no game. But yeah, he's been a revelation for the past season. Really, I think he's really stepped up his game at Arsenal, and there's now talks of him staying. That people don't want to get him out as much. I don't want to get him out as much. I think he looks good next to Partey in the middle, and I think Partey will get his first start since he came back from injury. We've managed him better. You know, got him 30 minutes against Benfica, got him 30 minutes against Leicester, and I think it's now time to start him. Get 90 minutes in his legs if you can, and then get him all ready for Olympiacos on Thursday. The number 10 looks to be quite an obvious one this week. Emil Smith-Rowe still suffering from a hip problem, so I think he gets rested, potentially on the bench. He may have a late chance to make the bench if he passes the fitness test. But Erdegaard, for me, starts in the number 10, growing as a player at Arsenal. I see someone said earlier on in the chat, would you take him or Sabas? For me, I'm just loving the way he plays. So I would personally keep him if we could, but I just can't see him staying at Arsenal. But we'll see what happens. I'd keep him in the number 10, definitely. On the right, has to be Starboy Saka for me. Has to come into the squad. Um, revelation. Run out of superlatives for this guy. But the fact that he's guaranteed a start for me shows his quality. And again, I know it's maybe not the highest priority, but get the minutes in his legs. Give him a good run out for me against Burnley, and then bring him in again against Olympiacos. On the left, he deserves it for me. Nicola Pepe deserves to start. Ripped up Thomas, as I said last week. Another good opportunity. But listen, this could be for the first time this season. People will be saying, I think Willian deserves a start on the left hand side, considering he started on the left and Pepe started on the right last week. People will say that Willian deserves a start. But for me, Pepe has to start. You could arguably say he's competing with Saka, but for me, they can both play in the same team. They have done in parts this season, and yeah, Pepe has to start. And up top, Aubameyang, easy job for me. Lacazette, yes, has been good this season. Had a good game against Leicester, but you bring the big boys back today. You bring the confidence. You bring the squad in. And so for me, you go with Aubameyang in the squad. So that's me. So that's Leno, Bellerin, Louise, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Xhaka in the middle, Erdegaard in number 10, Saka right, Pepe left, and the Aubameyang up top. Let me know what you think. Is that something that you would do? Is that the squad that you'd go with? So very different to what Wilson had earlier on in the chat. Um, and let me go with what you guys have said. So yeah, Bellerin, I am serious. I think he will start. Whether he should start is arguable. Listen, Cedric hasn't played well enough to me to say I don't want to see Bellerin play anywhere near the first team. He's done all right. He's done good. He had a good game against Leicester. I'm still not convinced he's going to be a number one right back. So for me, there's chances Bellerin to play in the squad 100%. Um, he offers a different attacking threat to Tierney. He plays a lot more of an underlap and a lot more as like a third centre midfielder at times. But yeah, for me, I wouldn't be mad at Bellerin starting tomorrow, to be honest. But that's my opinion. Um, Shane says he could see a 0-0 draw tomorrow. Listen, Burnley could be quite good defensively. It's not going to be a rollover thing. Not many sides go to Turf Moor and make it their happy place. A lot of teams go there and they lose. A lot of teams go there and they get beat comfortably. So uh, I wouldn't say it's going to be an easy game, a high scoring game. It's an early kickoff on a Saturday. Always tricky. You never really get a high scoring game then anyway. MB said he starts Cedric personally. Yeah, and I get that. I get that. And I would probably start Cedric on Thursday. But yeah, it is what it is. That's just my opinion. Erhan says it feels like Aubameyang is slowly being phased out. Wouldn't surprise me to see him leave soon. I don't think he's being phased out. I think Aubameyang is got a place in the squad as the main striker. I reckon by the end of next year though, that's when we're probably looking to phase him out. If we can get in a striker like Edward maybe in the summer, play him underneath Aubameyang, get him learning from Aubameyang, and then as Aubameyang goes into his last year, you kind of think about phasing him out then. I don't think yet. I think he's still got another year in him yet at the top level. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wilson, you got a feeling that Pepe will score again. The guy's really stepping up big time. Yeah, Pepe again, superlatives, running out again. The past few months, he's been brilliant, taking on people, set pieces, crossing the ball, creating opportunities. Obviously, won the penalty last week with his cross, got the goal from a tap in, but due to his work rate and his pressing. So yeah, man, really, really, really hoping that Pepe continues to show his form and, as MB says, show his hunger. I like that he's hungry. I like that he wants to play. I didn't see it from him much at the start of the season, but I am seeing it now. Wilson says Cedric is far better offensively and defensively than Bellerin right now, but we still need a right back replacement for Bellerin in the summer. Yeah, I think Cedric has been better in the past few weeks, but then there's been times when Bellerin has shown his worth as well. So um, Bellerin's not a bad right back, and I wouldn't if he started next week, I wouldn't be mad at it. Give it a bit of a rotation. Cedric had the last game against Leicester. Bellerin gets the game today. Maybe Cedric gets the game on Thursday, and maybe Cedric gets the game against Spurs in the North London derby on Sunday. So we'll see. We'll see. Guys, yeah, make sure you get in, make sure you smash that like button. Guys, but yeah, that's the team that I think Arteta will play. And then we go to the prediction. What do I think the score's going to be on Sunday? Shane says could be a 0-0. NB says that Arsenal will win 2-1. Wilson thinks Arsenal are going to get a win as well. He says 2-0 to Arsenal against Burnley. Here's my prediction. Burnley, weirdly, should be bucked. They should be tired. They played last week against Spurs and got battered 4-0. They played midweek against Leicester and they had to work really hard to get a draw. So that wasn't easy for them, but they dug their heels in at Turf Moor and they got a draw. We obviously were very, very good when we beat Leicester as well. And we got to bring our A game to beat. We got to bring our A game to beat Burnley. But listen, I'm gonna go for a draw. I'm gonna go for 1-1. Not because I want it. I want a win. I'm desperate for a win. I think a win will be great for confidence. But I think we'll draw it. I think we'll draw 1-1. I think we'll maybe score the first goal, concede mid second half and just try and find a winner and not be able to find it. I hope I'm wrong, but people that think it's going to be an open game because of how good we were playing last week, you can be misled. And yes, I did think we were going to beat Leicester last week, and they surprised me. But yeah, I don't think we'll win. I don't think we'll beat Burnley personally this weekend. But I want it. I want it. I want to win badly. I want to win so badly, and I really want Arsenal to do the job. Um, and I'll end with this. Shane says, what do you rate Odegaard since he's been at Arsenal so far, even though he's not been there long? Personally, um, maybe like a 6, 7 out of 10. Had good performances. Probably should have had some more assists and goals. Um, definitely should have scored against Aston Villa. Had a chance to. Had a chance to score against Benfica in one of the games there as well. Was good against Leicester. I think played an important part in the Pepe goal, even though he didn't get a direct assist there. Am I right in saying that Odegaard hasn't got a goal or assist yet for Arsenal? Definitely hasn't scored. I don't think he's got an official assist either yet. So 16 games, no goals or assists. Oh no, that's in the all comps. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at Odegaard at Arsenal, and I can't see no. So yeah, he's played 6 games for us. Not yet got a goal or assist. 7 games, no goals, no assists. So stats wise, no, he hasn't done it, but he's been good, and I like him. So be good to have him going forward. And he says Bellerin isn't the same player he was. He was good going forward, but he was always liable defensively. Plus, the serious injury has taken a lot out of him. Lost the pace he had. Yeah, and that's why I want to sell him in the summer personally. But right now, I want all the players on it. I want all the players working hard to get a win for Arsenal. And yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. I hope they prove me wrong again. I hope they do because I'm trying to match their results. But that's just my personal opinion. I think Burnley are going to make it hard for us, and I think it's going to be a slug. We're going to have to slug it out. And I feel like when Arsenal try and slug it out with another team, it doesn't always end well for us. But even if we draw, as much as I want to win, it just means that the season's done in terms of the Premier League. And the big game for us is the Europa League on Thursday, and then the NLD next weekend. But guys, thank you for getting in the chat. Thank you for letting me know your thoughts on the game. I'll be back here live tomorrow, straight after the Burnley game. So make sure you get in the chat tomorrow, probably about 2:30 after the Burnley game. For those of you that are hanging around tonight, Neeks has got a show tonight about Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kicking off at around 8 o'clock. So make sure you jump back in the chat for that this later on this evening. And yeah, we'll go from there. Well, hopefully, Arsenal can get the 3 points this week. Come on, Arsenal. Let's do it. Let's get a win. I want us to get a win.